Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a Dairy Queen. If you managed to see where I was hiding in the intro of this video, let me know down there in the comment section. The white grid on the screen represents the amount of space required to make your build. You should also be able to see the starting point within that grid, so feel free to make the grid, mark out the starting point, and this is best done if you are building this in a tight space or around other builds, or if you just want it somewhere specific. Here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Begin by placing a red terracotta on top of the previously designated starting position, and extend that block to the right by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend forwards by 1, and then right by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to extend backwards by 1, right by 3, 1, 2, 3. We then want to leave a gap of 2, but you can also destroy these 2 blocks in the ground, and the 2 behind them. However, once we have destroyed the first 2 blocks in the ground going right, place a red terracotta on the end, extend it to the right by a further 1, and then we can begin by extending backwards by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We then want to continue extending back by 5 using terracotta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to extend across the back of the build using the terracotta. We specifically want to line up with where we started on the front of the build. We then want to copy the exact same row that we have over there over here. So we extend to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 with the terracotta, and then make the rest of the row red terracotta. The end result should look like this. With the foundation made, we can now start adding details to the build. So, the first thing that I want to do is make the center part of the building. This is really going to stand out. Grab your quartz bricks, and on top of this outward sticky out red terracotta block right here, place 5 quartz bricks on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Extend right 1, up by 2, 1, 2, right 1, up 1, right by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, right 1, down 2, 1, 2, right 1, and then just join all the way down to the frame. Once we have done that, we can start adding more detail inside of the detail. So, at the bottom here, along the row of terracotta, place a quartz brick, 2 glass pane, 1, 2, polished black stone wall, 2 glass pane, quartz brick. We then want to extend up by 1, 2, 3, and then place a row of quartz bricks across the top. Extend down, extend the black stone wall up, place glass pane in the remaining area like this, and then we have a nice center window. We're also going to place smooth quartz slabs along the top of the quartz bricks that joins to the window. We then want to fill above us in using quartz bricks. However, we also want to make room for a sign. So we want to find the center of this wall. This is easy to do because we have literal black stone wall here. We want to move up following this line of center wall and leave half a row's gap between this smooth quartz slab and the one we're about to place. Extend the quartz slab left and right. Place 2 rows of red concrete on top. Then place smooth quartz slab on top of the red concrete with upside down smooth quartz stairs on the left and right with regular smooth quartz stairs on top like this. And then we want to have a row of smooth quartz slabs that sits above and in front of the top of this particular part of the building. There we go. Perfect. We are going to leave the build like this for now, and we are going to simply shift our attention to the left side of the building and then the right side of the building. So, behind this little wall that we've made here, we are going to add some more quartz bricks, just so that we actually have something to place blocks onto. Left of this wall here, along the top of the terracotta, we want to place 2 black glass pane, 1, 2, black stone wall, 2 glass pane, and then 2 more bricks, 1, 2. We're then going to extend the bricks up by 3, 1, 2, 3. Extend across, join to our newly placed quartz bricks, extend the wall upwards as well to join to the bricks too, and then we simply want to fill the remaining area in using black glass pane. That's perfect. We have ourselves a window. And then on the left side of the build, we actually want to have a very similar level of detail. So we'll start off by placing an entire row of quartz bricks behind this one here. We then want to have 2 rows of glass pane along the top of the red terracotta, 1, 2, polished black stone wall, 2 glass pane, 2 quartz bricks, and then we are going to extend the quartz bricks upwards, join them all the way to the front of the build, extend the wall upwards as well, and then I think that you guys might know what happens next. We fill the remaining space in using glass pane. Once we have accomplished this, we can just flip over to the right side of the build here. We can start off by placing quartz bricks behind this row of quartz bricks here as well. Along the red terracotta, this is ever so slightly different. We want to place 2 glass pane, followed by polished black stone wall. And then, on the 2 end red terracottas, we want to place 1, 2, 3, 4 quartz bricks, extend them across like this, extend the black stone wall up, fill the remaining area in using glass pane, and then on the side of the build we are going to copy what we have over there. So we'll begin by placing a row of quartz bricks. We will then place along the bottom 2 glass pane, black stone wall, 2 glass pane, 2 quartz bricks, extend the quartz bricks upwards so that they rival the height of the quartz bricks on the front of the build, then extend them across, join the black wall upwards, fill in using black glass pane, and that is perfect. So this area here is going to be an entrance. So the entrance, which I suppose we might as well make now, requires a little bit of a shift in material. So we're going to grab oak planks, light grey terracotta, oak doors, black stained glass, and we need a black concrete block, which we do have in our chest, but I'm not going over there just for 1 block. So we want to place oak planks / light grey terracotta where the entrance of our Dairy Queen is. The floor for our Dairy Queen is a checkered pattern mixed between oak planks and light grey terracotta. So we then, on the back pair of blocks that we place, want to place oak doors. And above the oak doors, we want to place black glass. I think that we're actually going to place it above and behind the doors just like this. We want to grab the red terracotta and the quartz bricks again, because we actually have to extend these red terracottas next to the entrance backwards, fill the side of this in using quartz bricks. The black concrete is to place behind the black wall, and then we're going to raise up the glass as well. So as long as it looks good from the outside, which I think it actually does, I think that that looks absolutely great, then everything's good. With some of the more detailed parts of the build complete, we are now able to fill in much larger parts a lot easier. For instance, we can dig out the entire inside floor of our Dairy Queen, and we can turn it into the checkered floor that we talked about earlier. This is a mixture of oak and light grey terracotta, literally placed alternating next to each other. We'll end up with a really nice checkered pattern that kind of has an old school feel. With the floor now complete, we can now raise up the remaining part of the walls using terracotta. They want to be as high as the quartz bricks surrounding them. The next task on our agenda is going to be the roof. The roof might look a little bit complicated from the outside, but it's really simple. Begin by placing a row of red concrete that sits along the outside of the top of your Dairy Queen. This wants to extend from the smooth quartz slabs that we placed earlier from one side all the way over to the next. And once you have joined those together, we can now make the shape of the roof by placing red concrete along the outside of the framework that we have laid out using our quartz bricks, just like this. So if you simply place red concrete around the edge of the shape that we formed in the front of the center of our Dairy Queen, you can't really go too far wrong. Extend the red concrete outwards so that it sits one row in front of all of the other blocks surrounding it. And then we simply want to extend the rows of red concrete that we have now laid out in the shape of the center point of our Dairy Queen. We want to take those rows and extend them all the way around the top of the walls of our Dairy Queen. Once we have extended the first two initial rows of red concrete, we will then move on to the next two rows of red concrete. You can see that each stage of the roof is pretty much two rows of red concrete stacked on top of each other until you inevitably reach the top. So that is the first row of two red concretes complete. We then want to do the exact same thing again, except the red concrete wants to sit one row inside the previous row of red concrete. So literally the exact same thing, except of course higher and one row inwards, just so that we are giving the roof a nice flow towards the center. It's actually going somewhere rather than just being a big flat wall. Now, with the third stage of the roof complete, all we're going to do is extend the two lonesome red concretes backwards so that they are even and level with the rest of the roof. And then we can pretty much just extend the smooth quartz slabs in between them backwards as well. And then it's kind of our decision what we do with the rest of the roof. My recommendation would be simply to fill the entire top of it in using red concrete. Now that we have added a roof to our building, we have 99% completed the actual structure of Dairy Queen. We're going to decorate the entire outside of the build and then head along inside. So the first thing that we are going to add is a nice outdoor seating area. Come all the way over to the left side of your Dairy Queen. We want to place a row of dark oak fence extending from the red terracotta that connects to the quartz brick that connects to the glass. I know, it's a bit convoluted, but there you go. So we're going to extend this fence outwards like this, and join it to the outer grid. Extend the dark oak fence forwards so that it lines up with the red terracotta of the front of Dairy Queen, and then double up on the size of the fence, just like this. Now, inside of this area, we are going to make a nice table that we are able to actually eat at, and it'll have a parasol and everything. So, the table wants to be surrounded by a couple of potted plants. So we're going to place a cyan glazed terracotta extending inwards diagonally from this dark oak fence. And we want to do the same from the opposite corner as well, so extending inward diagonally like this. That actually has to be 1 block forwards. And then this allows us to shape the table a little bit, so the table actually goes in between these two potted plants. It starts right in the middle, so it's going to be a smooth quartz slab placed diagonally in between the two glazed terracotta. We then want to extend the slabs outwards in every direction. Add a spruce stairs on each one of the 4 center parts of the table. We then want to place 2 cobblestone wall on top of the center of the table with a black carpet on top and red banners hanging off of the top of the cobblestone. Perfect, just like this. All we've got to do now is just place oak leaves on top of the 2 cyan terracottas, and there we have ourselves a nice little seating area. We want to come to the bottom front left hand corner of our Dairy Queen and count forwards in front of this block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then left 1. Place a cobblestone wall, extend up by 2, 1, 2. Place 2 red concrete extending across from the top 2 cobblestone wall on the end, and then drop that back down to the ground. We then want to grab stone brick slabs and place slabs next to the cobblestone wall on the ground, extend forwards and backwards, and extend the forward and backward slab across all the way to the right, and line up with the left oak door of the entrance. Extend these slabs backwards and across to complete the shape, just like this. So that is absolutely perfect. The next thing that we are going to do is just decorate the inside of the flower bed that we have created. We will need oak leaves, ferns, azure bluets, poppies, dandelions, azaleas, and I'm also going to grab flower pots as well. We'll need some smooth stone and some other things too. So I want you to, in the very center of the flower bed, which lines up by the way with the actual center of the build, I want you to place a fern. Left and right of this, azure bluets. Left and right of that, poppies. Leave a gap of, actually I don't know if you leave a gap of 1 or just simply place the dandelions either side. And then place oak leaves either side of the dandelions and extend them up by 1 row each. Then leave a gap of 1 and then place an azalea. That will give us a nice little collection of flowers for our flower bed, just like this. We now have to dig out the front of our Dairy Queen. So we are going to dig left and right of the stone brick slabs of the flower bed, and we are going to dig all the way to the outer boundary on the left and right side of the build. We will also dig the entire floor of the seating area out as well. However, we don't have to dig any further back than that. This is probably something that we should have done before we decided to make the entire seating area, but, you know, what can you do? Once that has been done, we are going to fill the entire area that we have dug out using smooth stone. Now with that particular portion of the front of the build dug out, we now want to dig out the remaining area in front of this inside the grid and replace it using a mixture of grey concrete and yellow concrete. We are going to form some car parking spaces. The car parking spaces sit in between the area in front of the flower bed. If you place yellow concrete in front of the two corners of the flower bed, leave gaps of 3 extending inwards with yellow concrete on the end, then that will give you the amount of space required for each individual bay. Then extend the grey concrete and the yellow concrete forwards, fill in the remaining area either with grey concrete or a mixture of smooth stone and grey concrete, and that's all you have to do. I'm unsure whether I like grey concrete either side of the car parking spaces, or if I would prefer smooth stone. That's something that you are going to have to experiment with and change yourself. Smooth stone might look a little bit better in my opinion. Also, whilst we're at it, we are going to place some flower pots in front of the build, kind of spaced evenly apart from each other. The flower pots are simply going to have saplings in them, and these are strictly for decoration. It really doesn't matter if you place these or in what quantity or in what spacing. I just think it improves the build a little bit. At this point in time, the outside of our Dairy Queen is 99.9% complete. All we have to do is add some banners to the 2 signs in front of our building / on our building. So the first thing that we have to do is throw loom down on the ground, open it up, and the first banner that we have to make is D. Place a vertical row of white on the right side of the banner, get rid of the white dye, place red dye in there, and then you're looking for the diamond pattern. Put the banner back in, replace the red with the white, and then place a horizontal row of white across the bottom, across the top, a vertical row on the left side. Next, we have to make Q. Place a vertical row of white on the left side of the banner, grab that, put that back in, throw the white dye out, red dye in, make the entire lower half of the banner red, grab that, put that back in, replace the red with the white, and then place a horizontal row of white straight through the middle of the banner, horizontal row across the top, and a vertical row on the right. So this isn't exactly the Q that I would like, but it is the one that we have, and we're going to place a D on the left side of the logo here, and a Q on the right side of the logo. And there is a little bit of a gap, but there's nothing we can do about that. We then want to also place a D and a Q here. This is just on a floor sign, and there we go. So now we have all of the branding for Dairy Queen, and in completing that, ladies and gentlemen, we have finished the entire outside of our build. With the outside finally complete, we are now able to head inside and begin work. So the first thing that I want to do inside of the build is place the ceiling. The ceiling is made out of light grey terracotta. It's placed directly above the window line, and we just want to have a huge flat surface that just reduces the amount of space that we have to worry about inside of our Dairy Queen. With the ceiling complete, we are now going to begin work on the actual structure of the inside. So come all the way over to the right side of the build. Right next to the end of this window here, we want to place an oak door extending towards the right side of the build. Then place 5 red terracotta next to the door, extending to the right side of the build. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to place another door, red terracotta, extend that red terracotta back 1, then place 6 spruce planks extending right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, leave a gap of 1 and then place a polished deep slate, extend 1 block forwards, and then in the ground we want to dig an entire row of light grey concrete extending right, then on top of the first 2 concrete place white glass, polished deep slate, then 2 white glass. Behind these blocks we want to place in the ground sea lanterns, and then behind those blocks still we want to dig behind those and place more light grey concrete. We then want to extend the polished deep slate backwards. These are both of these rows like this. Then we want to layer some black concrete behind, or maybe on top of the light greys actually. That should be okay. So lay a row of 3 black concrete on top of the back row of light grey. We then, using white concrete, want to build up the walls of this area. So place white concrete on top of the deep slate like this. We want to place 2 rows of white concrete like so. And then on top of all of this, we want to place a layer of stone slabs. So this is a little bit tricky to place, but once we reach a certain point, we shouldn't have too much trouble. And this is going to be a mixture of fridges / it's also going to be a storage room. So the storage room starts 1 row away from the back of the left side of the build here, and it's literally just like a nice empty room. We're actually going to fill it in using a couple of different blocks, but let's just place an oak door here on there just for the moment. And then the fridges themselves, we're going to just need some smooth quartz slabs, which we are just going to place just near the... Actually, where do we want to place these? So maybe at the bottom here, we'll have some smooth quartz slabs, just half row above the sea lanterns. Item frames on top, and then we want to stick some item frames just kind of inside here. And these are just some fridges, so just a nice little variety. And we should also be able to layer some quartz slabs above these, and we should be able to retain the actual item frames that we have down below as well. And we can choose to fill these in later, which we will, but for now we're going to seal these up using glass block, and then add door handles in front of these. So literally in front of the middle left center block, we want to have an end rod just facing up or down like this, and that looks like some fridges with door handles. We want to extend the red terracotta that we have next to the spruce counter backwards. We also want to find the center red terracotta here that we have in our row of 5 and extend that backwards too. We then want to raise up on top of the red terracottas. We want to place quartz bricks. These quartz bricks are going to form walls for bathrooms. And we want to split the middle so that we just have 1 of each, or these can just be 2 single toilets. It really doesn't matter how you divide these, however you want to, but the important part is that we have 2 separate little bathrooms here for whatever. And now that we have done that, we are going to start marking out the space behind the counter here, and maybe even the counter itself. So grab the polished deep slate stairs, some white carpet. We want to have light grey concrete, cauldrons, furnace, cyan concrete, leather, tripwire hook, black concrete, and that might be it for now. So the counter space here, we want to place a couple of polished deep slate stairs on top of the counter. So from the end here, leave a gap, place a stair. From the end, leave a gap, place a stair. Place white carpet on top of the counter. And then along the back here, we want to place light grey concrete along the entire back, leaving a gap or 2 from the end, and then we want to place a cauldron and then a furnace. And then we're going to leave a gap of 1 from this, and then in front of this we're going to place 2 light grey concrete, so sticking out kind of like in the middle-ish of our light grey concrete area. On top of the back 2 light grey concretes that are behind the sticking out part, we want to place a 2x2 square of cyan concrete with a lever in front of the top left block and a tripwire hook in front of the top right. Then we are going to place a collection of black concrete, so black concrete on top of the cyan, the actual cyan concrete, and then we are going to place a square next to this, but it wants to then extend forward, a 2x2 square of black concrete. Same on the right like this, so a 2x2 square that extends forwards. And then behind us on the right, just a vertical row of 2 that just once again kind of extends forwards. Now, these are all going to kind of like emulate menu items, so we're just going to use a bunch of 1x1s and 1x2 paintings for this. And that is so weird that that has ended up that way. We've got a lot of repeat paintings here. Oh my, whoa! We actually have, like, on the left and right, we have, like, the exact same two paintings just repeated over and over again. That is absolutely insane. I kind of almost want to leave that. And we keep getting the same... we keep getting the same 1x2 as well. I'm looking for a 1x2 painting that looks a little ambiguous like this one, but not this one. Guys, the look here is unbelievable. I might just leave it at, there we go, that's perfect. So these are kind of perfect, and I don't know, it's just kind of like some ambiguous painting. It's like you look at that and it's like, that could be anything. You could also use item frames and put actual food in there, and you could of course always literally like put signs next to food, write out what it is. It's up to you, but I'm keeping it nice and simple. So behind all of this counter space, we are going to need some more materials than we have on us right now. So first of all, it's actually a decent idea to dig behind the bottom row of the sticky out black concretes and place sea lanterns behind these blocks. This will illuminate everything rather nicely. On top of the furnace, I'm going to place an item frame, and then you can stick anything in there that you might like. Rail on top of the cauldron, and then I'm kind of just going to litter like brewing stands, flower parts, some more rails in front of the ice cream machine here, maybe even a lantern or so, just to kind of like, just to fill in this back area a little bit. I think it just looks a little bit better, a little bit messy, and of course you can just stack whatever you might want on here. I mean, you can even just like place a cake and stuff as well if you want a bit more variance. In this stock room here, I'm thinking just brown shulker boxes, just to keep it nice and simple. We don't have to do anything too crazy in here, so literally just in here, just stack a bunch of shulker boxes. You can add some fence and stuff if you, or rather, you can add some chests if you want to. You could add some trapdoors to make it look like there's like shelves, and you can make it like all nice and crazy complicated, or you can kind of just stick to something a bit simple like this, kind of like just a nice boring empty stock room. Close that, and then this is the counter area, this is the stock room, the kitchen. We have this pretty much sorted out, so all that goes in here pretty much is just going to be littered with different drinks. So if you just want to grab a bunch of different bottles, and of course you could place whatever you wanted to in here, like literally just anything that you might choose, anything that you think would look cool in an item frame, literally feel free to place it in these fridges. As long as it like just looks cool, as long as it's got some sort of visual intrigue, then I think that we can't really go too far wrong. The next thing that we are going to make is the toilet, so let's head into the bathroom. So in each bathroom, in the inward back corner of the bathroom, we will have an upside down quartz stairs with an oak trapdoor above it. We then want to, using spruce planks, place a row of 1, 2, 3 next to the toilet, and then extend the planks forwards. We will then leave a gap of 1 on this back wall, and then place a cauldron with a tripwire hook above it. Next to it, a light grey terracotta, place a lantern for light, and above this, a quartz stair. All in all, we have a toilet in a stall, a sink, and also a drying apparatus. So however you want to define that in your head is up to you. That could be like an air dryer, or perhaps it dispenses like, you know, actual like paper. It doesn't really matter. Preferably not paper, as there's no bin in here, but we want to do the exact same thing in the opposite toilet as well. So in the corner, upside down stair, trapdoor on top, 2 rows of 3 spruce planks directly next to the toilet, gap of 1 on this back wall. Then we want to place a cauldron, tripwire hook above it, light grey terracotta, lantern on top, above that a quartz stair. Boom, the 2 toilets are made. And in doing those, ladies and gentlemen, there is but one thing left to do for the inside of Dairy Queen. All we have left to do is a bunch of seating to add. So we are going to come all the way over to the left side of the build, and in between the toilets, the center block here, the red terracotta, is also the wall inside. We want to place 1, 2 spruce planks extending out from this block. Add another row on top of it. Smooth quartz stairs extending in front of the bottom 2 blocks on the left and right. End rods in front of the stairs with red carpet on top of the end rods. And in doing this, we have a booth, table, chairs, easy. We're also going to decorate the outside of the booth using some spruce signs. It just adds a nice little texture to it. And there we go. On this opposite wall here, we actually want to have the same thing, so we want to have a 2x2 square of spruce planks, smooth quartz stairs extending from the bottom, end rods in front of the stairs with red carpet on top, like this, and then spruce signs on the outside of the booths. Once we've done that, we can now focus on the center area of our build. So we want to, from the very middle of our Dairy Queen, where we have the center window, we want to take the middle of this and place 1, 2, 3 spruce planks extending outwards, and then add another row on top of this. We then, of course, want to add smooth quartz stairs in front of the 2 sides of the center part of the booth, end rods in front of these stairs, with red carpet on top of the end rods, just like this. And then we are going to leave this right side alone, but on the left side over here, we are going to add an opposite set of smooth quartz stairs, and then spruce planks behind these smooth quartz stairs like this, so we have kind of like a nice little double table. You could even go one step further and have a nice little table squeezed over here as well. I don't know whether you think that that would be too much or not, but I'm going to do it anyway, and then add spruce signs onto the outside of the booths. And looking at this, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think that there is actually anything left to even add. I think that we have officially finished the entire tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to subscribe and click the little bell next to the subscription button if you have enjoyed this video. Like the video as well, that helps a lot. And if you would like to make anything else by me, check out the City Builds playlist. This is easily found in the description below at the end of the video, and I'm sure that YouTube is already recommending you another video of mine already. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.